Hello, and welcome to another video with me, Veerle, and I hope you're well. And this is a totally different setting, isn't it? But it's due to circumstances, and I have to do videos by myself, you know. When there's members of the family walking all around, I just cannot concentrate. And I wish I could do videos outside, but I get distracted very easily. Anyways, let's talk about actually this new setting. It slightly have to do with the new moon. Why is that? Now, I want to make a very short video for all the signs from Aries up until Pisces, what this new moon is all about, because it's a new moon in Aries. The sun and the moon are together. It's going to happen on, depending where you live, the 15th, the 16th of April. Well, actually the 15th of April. The 14th, 15th, 16th of April, you're going to feel it the most, but it will have consequences for, maybe for some of you, for the rest of your life. And it will continue, you will continue to feel this new moon for the whole month actually, because the new moons means new beginnings. It's when the sun and the moon are together. And it's in the first sign of Aries, which is typically a very much of a fresh start. Now, the specialities of this new moon is that it is conjunct Uranus. So it's very close at the very end of Aries. And there's Uranus. I'm going to talk about that. And secondly, also after this new moon, Mercury goes direct. So it's quite significant. That's why I wanted to make a video, so we can welcome these energies instead of fighting against them, because that's basically what it is. I cannot change these energies, thank God. Otherwise, I would be God. But how do we deal best with it? Well, be sure. So I'm going to explain first a little bit in general for everybody, and then for all the signs in particular. But in general, you may be sure that there's more excitement in the air. We can always talk about the negative, and we can always talk about the positive. I rather talk about the positive, because I do believe that where we focus on, it becomes bigger. And if we focus too much on the bad, it becomes the bad. So that doesn't mean to say that I'm putting my head in the sand for the negative signs of this new moon with Uranus, because there are. It's quite an extreme new moon. So for some people, it's going to be extremely challenging. For others, it's going to be extremely exciting. And I want to give you some tips to try to fall into the excitement instead of having, you know, the universe talking to you in a way that you don't want it to talk to you. But of course, things are as they are, and we can only do our best. So what is Uranus all about? It's definitely on the best side. It's definitely for those of you who are in a rut, who are really completely done with the old, and who want something new. And again, I'm going to talk particularly about each sign, what that could be, what kind of life area that could be. If you are really in a rut, if you want to change something for years and years and years, you haven't had the courage, well, now is the moment. Now is the moment to take that leap and to make that change. Uranus is all about change. Uranus is about sudden change. And therefore Uranus is also seen, and if you write the books about Uranus, seen as, you know, chaotic kind of planet, and it can put chaos in your life, definitely, because the changes, most of us are not ready for them because they happen so quickly. So it's better to try to do your own thing a little bit, even if it's a little change, even if it's a change of decor, like me, and a change of my hair, which, by the way, I didn't do on purpose, but now as I talk about it, I kind of get it. But these are little changes, and for some people it's gonna be just like that, and for other people it's gonna be big changes. So yes, Uranus, on the good side, liberation, truths are going to come out, for good or for worse, you know, the truth. It's about liberation, it's about freedom, it's about individuality, it's about I've done with you and I'm gonna cut the cords here, or I've done with this job And I've had it. And very often the negative side is rebellion. The negative side is just changing because you want to change. You know, the negative side of Uranus would be that you are in a 10-year-old relationship and you love your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend to bits, and they are really good people, you have a really nice family, but you want something different, and then you just let it all, you know, you kind of say, I don't want the old anymore, I go for the new, because at the office there is this guy or there is this girl, and I start all with that. And then, of course, after this transit is over, you think, oh my goodness, what have I done? So that's the negative side of Uranus, because it can really, really break things. So be aware of, if you want to break up things, be aware that, are you sure that you want to break this up? So if you doubt, it's better to maybe change the relationship. There is something very interesting, by the way, as an aside here. Because I talk about relationships, and of course for a lot of people it will be about relationships. For those of you who are in a relationship which is longer than 1 year, we all have those two paradoxal things coming together in a steady relationship, which is, on the one side you want commitment and you want to be with that person and you want to share all the good, the bad and the ugly, and on the other side we all have a longing for new things, which is that Uranus kind of stuff. Now if you want to know more about this, that sometimes in a relationship you don't know what to do, you know, you want excitement but you don't want to leave this person, but you want new experiences. Check out, I'll put a link below if I won't forget it. It's a relationship therapist. She is Belgian, by the way. And her name is Esther Perel. And she writes a lot about these things, that how do we combine in a long-term relationship the commitment side and the excitement side. How do we combine it without breaking that relationship up? There is plenty of stuff that you can do. Maybe another video, if you're interested, I'll make a video on that, because it's really, really interesting. And I attract a lot of clients with these kind of things going on, because when they have a Uranus transit, for instance, things need to be changed, and we can change without breaking things that are good for us. Anyway, that was as an aside, but so watch out if you want to break things, a relationship, a friendship. Are you really, really sure that it's all bad or a lot of bad? Then go for it. Yes, it's now the time. If you want to break up, if you want to cut the cords, if you say enough is enough, then now is the time. If you're doubting and if you say, no, actually this relationship is good, but there has to be something that needs to be changed, try to work with that. Try to work with that partner, that friend, that child or whatever, to change the relationship, and start with the changes with yourself first, of course. Don't have to wait and sit there. If you want a bit of spicing up the relationship, you don't have to wait there. You have to act yourself, you know, kidnap your friend, for instance, at lunchtime. Maybe he has a 1 hour lunchtime. Why not taking free from your own work and surprise him? Anything like that. That's Uranus. Uranus is about the excitement of life. And we all need it. It's a necessity. We all need comfort. We all need comfort, commitment, someone we are in an environment that we feel safe, but we also need excitement. We also need to do new things, especially to be healthy. You know, our brain, we kind of feel it gives off dopamine, or what is it called, when we are doing new things. So it's good for our mental health as well, physical health, mental health, all health. So keep that in mind. Are you in your life somewhere neglecting that exciting part of you? And if you do something about it. Don't wait for someone else to do it, or for the universe that will do it for you. Why is that not preferable? Because we all love to have the control. Not all of us, but lots of us. So, and yes, Uranus, I don't want to put it away. It can be drastic. It can be very negative. depending on your individual chart, but I don't want to do this in a general reading. But sometimes, yes, people can really, something can happen, an accident can happen, or someone can, yes, and when an accident happens, there are consequences and everything changes. Or you're in a relationship and they break up with you and you weren't expecting that. These kind of things happen too, but these are the exceptions. And so I want you to focus on what you can do yourself rather than having fear of astrology and thinking, oh, Uranus comes along. So don't do that. I mean, we have a choice in choosing what kind of attitude that we are taking. Now, let's do the signs. So start with Aries, of course. If you have, like me, a moon in Aries, I have my moon in Aries, and yeah, actually, without even knowing it, I did something different, didn't I, with my appearance, because the first house is your appearance. I look like that every day almost, but not in the videos. But hey, doing something slightly different with your appearance is a Uranus, a new moon kind of thing in the first house in Aries. So why not? Why not going for a change of hair? Why not just changing your garderobe? Why not doing these kind of things? These are positive things that give you that feeling of Uranus, which is aliveness, freedom, all that. Actually, for Aries, what I just said, it's all applicable for you, because when you have an ascendant or a sun in Aries, it really could, and it's falling, this new moon, on your sun or on your moon or on your ascendant, it really means that you're in for something new, and it's a new life path. Even you could really be all of a sudden, you know, Uranus is really about all of a sudden. And don't forget, I didn't even mention that Mercury goes direct in Aries as well. So we have things going, of course, slowly, because Mercury stands still, and then before it really tracks, it really has a bit of speed. It takes a couple of days, but it means things are going forward and things are becoming clear, which is also very interesting. So for Aries, all what I just said is applicable for you. Then for the Taurians, this is happening in your 12th house, which is a very hidden house, which is this new moon happening in a very unconscious house. So it depends on how conscious are you, but we all have blind spots. So it could mean for some Taurus people that blind spots come to the surface. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it comes to the surface, and embrace it, whatever it is. Normally, we all put stuff under the carpet, and we all put stuff that we all have blind spots. But if you do have some addictions, which is also the 12th house, it's the house of undoing actually. If you have a little or a small or a big addiction, this can be the breakthrough time. This can be the, aha, I'm having this addiction here. I'm love addicted, for instance. Or I always want to fall in love, or I always want to get on that Facebook and it's giving me the creeps. Or whatever it is, or drinking too much, smoking too much, the classical addictions, but there are so many. And it could be a good time here for the Taurians to see what is really having power over you, because you're not conscious of it. So be open, keep your eyes open, you Taurians. And if something comes up, mind your ego. Say to yourself, okay, this is a problem and I'm going to tackle it, because Uranus will give you new ways of tackling things that you don't want to tackle, basically. But this is all behind the surface, so a lot of people could not notice this, that this is going on with you. So very interesting for the Taurians, but very much behind the scenes. Okay, then we have Gemini. Gemini, this is happening in your 11th house, which is a very nice house. For Gemini, it's a bit more fun because, well, fun. It could mean that you say, this friend, I've had it. This is crossing the line. I'm burning my ship here, and I over-exaggerate here maybe, but that's because I've been stuffing it up. It's done. Or a new friend can come in who gives you this aliveness, who gives you this feeling of, this person has interests that help me and that inspire me, etc., etc. Could also be a new aspiration or an old one. Maybe you had an aspiration of, I have to change my job and then and all of that. And now Mercury goes direct, new moon in the 11th house of aspirations, and you're done with the aspiration. You're saying, this aspiration doesn't work for me. I'm going to end this aspiration. I'm going to look for new ones. So for Gemini, it's really very interesting, and it's lighter. Because you are an air sign and this is all in fire, so air and fire goes pretty well together. So a new aspiration could begin and could start. You know, an objective that you had for quite a while, it can now, out of the blue. Remember, Uranus is always a bit out of the blue, always a bit exhilarating energy. So out of the blue, you start a new job, for instance, or you start a new job of a new company of your own, and all of a sudden lots of clients are coming, this kind of thing. Then we have Cancer. That is important for Cancerians, this new moon, because it's a key area of your life and it's in the 10th house of work. So you Cancerians who've been fed up with work, you say, this is not for me on the mirror, I miss authenticity, this is the time to cut it. But again, be prepared, or try to say, is this really so bad? Or is this just this feeling of impulsivity? Impulsivity is our word, because impulsiveness is really much associated with Aries. So be aware that you have plan B, but that will be very difficult to do, actually, a plan B. But be aware that go with the flow with this new energy. Try to change something that you can. If you still like the job that you're doing, try to change something about it. For others, it's not about the job. It's about, you know, the midheaven is quite often a second ascendant. So it could be your social status, that all of a sudden, you're having a baby, or all of a sudden, you're divorced, or all of a sudden, you're getting married. That's also the 10th house. Something with your mom could be happening too. That is quite, what's going on here? That could be the case. Then we have Leo. For Leo, it's a fellow fire sign. It's in the 9th house. This is a good new moon. This is not really that drastic, although the 9th house is the house of your vision and your opinions. So there could be a totally new vision out of the blue. For instance, you've always said that your vision and your you were convinced all of your life that if you want to achieve something, you need to go, you need to work hard, you need to put a lot of your effort. And now all of a sudden, because something happens, or an insight, because Uranus has to do with electricity, you get that insight that, no, I don't have to do it that way. I have to be more easygoing. And then things come to me easier, and they're meant to be. I'm going to be a bit more passive here, and I'm going to let life happen a bit more to me, and I will do well. Or the other way around, whatever it is, the 9th house is quite important and underestimated, because it's the way that you think. And if you change the way that you think, your life changes. So I want to keep it like that here, because for Leo, it's massive. It's very, very interesting. Maybe there is traveling that you're up to, and it's really going. If you're going to travel the next weeks, it's going to be major for you, because major changes and a lot of excitement, it's going to come for you, which is good. Virgo, it happens in your 8th house. Ooh la la, this is again a bit darker, a bit more, with dark I mean a bit more behind the scenes. This is a house that is not open, so this will more happen on the inside. It's a difficult house, the 8th house. It's a bit like the Taurians. The 12th house, the 8th house, these are emotional houses. But what it means is the 8th house is all about transformation. It's all about going through a crisis and then being reborn again. That's the positive side of the 8th house. And it could be for a lot of Virgos that there is an insight that is so drastic. And maybe you're reading something occult, or maybe you were reading something metaphysical, because that's the 8th house. And suddenly you get that insight of, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do it totally different. And it's about you. It's about your own psychological setup, so to speak, that can have a bit of a twist there. So there could be a little crisis going on, or a big crisis, but not necessarily. It could also mean that it's simply a part of you that dies, a part of your personality dies, so that a new part of you can emerge. And that is way more exciting, way more Uranus-like, way more up to do new things and courageous. So it's a very courageous time for the Virgos, because if you're you can really make some breakthroughs when it comes to understanding yourself. Whether you like it or not, it could be a very big breakthrough. On another level, it could be suddenly you get an inheritance or something out of the blue, that an uncle that you didn't know he still was alive or whatever, because the 8th house is the money of others that can come to us, hopefully, or suddenly. It could be with taxes too. Hopefully a refund. Hopefully not a surprise. I have to pay millions, or not millions, thousands and thousands of euros or dollars or whatever. So could be some surprises there as well. Whatever it is, the Virgos, you've been working on this for quite a long time. So I think that the Virgos will welcome a bit of new things coming in now, because they're ready. They're ready to shed a bit of skin there. Then we have the Librans. Oh, big time for Librans. Big time if you have a sun in Libra, an ascendant or a moon in Libra. This is really, really a big time, because this is a huge focus on your relationships. Libra is the opposite of Aries, so there's something happening there. You know, of course, if you are at the very end of Libra, you will feel it more than you are someone who was born at the very beginning of Libra, you know, the September born Librans. But still you feel it. There's something that ends and that starts new when it comes to a very significant relationship. Or there's all of a sudden someone new coming in. Could be the case. Someone new comes in and all of a sudden, wow, where did that come from? Because Uranus is sudden and it's in circumstances that you are not used to. So when you are single, this is fantastic. When you're not single, this is not so fantastic. But anyways, it could happen. It could happen that someone catches your eye and it's all very, very quick. It develops all very quick. On another level, there's definitely for you something in the relationship that needs to be changed. You need to, if you are in a relationship, it doesn't mean to say it has to be a breakup. It could, for people who have bad relationships and who've been wanting to do this for years and years and years, it could. It could mean now the time that you say, I'm done with it. But if you're not, if you love the person that you're with and there is problems going on there, try to tackle them, try to start with yourself first. Although it could be that that other person, something happens in their life that has an impact on you, but try to start doing some new stuff in the relationship. As I said, you know, like a simple thing like surprising them or whatever. If you want some more excitement, you have to work for it yourself, you dear Librans, and don't wait there. And even then, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason and you cannot escape your destiny. The older I get, the more I understand that. But anyways, so for Librans, big time, focus on relationships. And but new stuff coming in as well. So good for you. Then we have the Scorpios. This is happening in your 6th house of, 6th house could be a new pet coming in. There's a cat there outside and it's always, all of a sudden it's in your house. And I had that one time in this room actually. This is the room, or it used to be the room where my son slept, and there was a little bit of milk there. Milk. I use Dutch. You're not going to understand it. Milk. And all of a sudden the milk was all gone. And I asked my son, did you drink that milk? No, I didn't. It was a cat that was inside the house. Anyway, something like that could happen to you, dear Scorpios. If it's not about animals, it could be about your health. So all of a sudden, something happens with your health and you have a breakthrough and you say, yeah, this is not, this has to change. This is something that is of a aha moment. And with Mercury there going direct as well, you could think a lot and you could move a lot during this time and really shift some of your habits that you have, because the sixth house is the house of your habits and of your, so if you always use the same path to go to work, why, and you want to embrace this new energy, why not going to work, why not choosing another path? Why, that's Uranus. Why not choosing another path for one day? If you every day go the same path to your work, use another road. Very Uranian, and see what happens. See what happens. Beautiful stuff can happen then. So it's health, but also it's your day-to-day life. It's your work as well. The same as I said with the Cancerians could happen. That you're done. You're done with the office, or you're done with the corporate world, or you're done with your work that you're doing day by day. You had it and you're going to change it. You could have that feeling. Again, mind you, that this is just temporary, but it can give you a bit of a push to act in a more positive way, to make your life more positive instead of miserable. Because Scorpios, they don't like changes at all. At all. Once they do it, they go through it and they are like reborn. But before they do it, it can take a long time for Scorpio. So maybe now is the time to make some changes, to write that new letter for a company or for a work that you've been wanting to do for so long. Go for it. Write lots of letters. Mercury direct. Write lots of letters then. After Scorpio, we do have Sagittarius. Sagittarius is also very positive because it's also a fire sign. And it's happening in a very positive house, which is the fifth house. So there could be some surprises there. Again, like the Librans, it could have to do with a love relationship. So more the big, someone who's dear to your heart. There's like, all of a sudden, you fall in love, or they fall in love with you. And you think, all of a sudden everything changes. That could happen. That's fantastic. When you're single, that's a fantastic moment. So you Sagittarians out there, go out on a Saturday night and boogie woogie or whatever. You will have a very unusual time with all this unusual energy, but try to embrace it, try to welcome the new and the excitement of that. If a relationship starts now, it's going to be a very exciting one for sure. And on another level, if you have children, it could have to do something with a child that rebels. That's the negative side. Or, oh my God, yeah, that could happen to me. I have a Sagittarius rising. I hope not. So but that could be the case. That could be the case that they do something that you think, what the hell are they doing? And a lot of things changes because of that. It could also be that you're getting a child. You're pregnant all of a sudden. I've seen that too with new moons there and Uranus going on there. Or you have been trying and you have forgotten all about it. And all of a sudden it's there, with the Mercury going direct, etc. Then, and of course, it's also our heart and how we enjoy life. So find some new ways to enjoy yourself. That's not going to be tough for a Sagittarian. But do something that you never did before. And if you used to go to if you like to go to restaurants, for instance, but you always go to a restaurant, to the same one, go to another one. Go try out sushi or whatever, something that you have never done before. It could really give you that inspiring energy. And we all, again, as I said in the beginning, we need all comforty zone to be happy, but we also need an excitement zone to be happy. So for you Sagittarians, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to implement a bit of freshness there in the air. Then what do we have next? We have Capricorns. That's happening in your fourth house, another key area of your life. Very important for the Capricorns. They've had quite some changes lately with Pluto there, Saturn there, Mars there. So I think a lot of Capricorns are doing what they're afraid of, and they're actually being afraid of their own success. I've seen that quite a lot lately with Capricorns. But whatever it is, there's some changes at home as well. So maybe you are a Capricorn and all of a sudden you think that your house is so messed up. Maybe all of a sudden you find the energy to clean it up. Why not? It's Uranus. It's all of a sudden. Or all of a sudden you're selling your house and buying a new house, for instance. Could be the case as well. Again, watch out for that impulsivity. Make sure that it's a calculated risk and not just a risk for the risk. So if you've been fed up with your house, do something about it, and you will find the courage now to do so, you Capricorns, to change something about the house that is quite significant. And this energy is there for quite a long time. So it's all about the start. You know, aller Anfang ist schwer, they say in German. I don't know why I speak German now, but that means every start is difficult, but once you get started, and that is the Aries energy. Once you get started, you're gone. And off you go, and you're on the road. You're on track again. What else could it do? It could be a parent, that something happens to a parent, could be the case as well for you Capricorns. It could also be something about your emotional world, because the fourth house again, it's not an easy house, it's a water house again. And that emotional world, it could be that something becomes very clear. Maybe after hearing this reading, you could say, yeah, I am actually afraid of my own success. Why? And you have that insight why. I'm not going to say it for you, but you might have that insight. Oh, that's why. Because the fourth house is our roots. So there could be some, you know, information from ancestors even coming through with the Uranus lightning. And that's good. Then Aquarians is also quite nice because that's in your third house, and it's Aquarius is an air sign. So there could be a message that you're getting out of the blue that really turns your life upside down. Sort of, the third house is communication, so that's the first that comes into my mind.